Welcome back to the Regretful Parents series on YouTube. In this series, we dive into the wild, messy, and sometimes heartbreaking posts from parents who regret the gig. It's not parent bashing before you freaking yell at us, okay? It's just a reality check. That's what it is. It's a reality check before you sign a lifelong contract. I'm Kristen.
And I'm Erica. And they're going to yell at us anyway.
I know. I just try to prevent it, but let's be honest, that's not realistic. All right, we're gonna do this one because I have it open. That's a good
Great.
reason to do it, right? Okay, this one is from Regretful Parents on Reddit. It's titled, I wish I had an abortion.
Ooh.
It's kind of a long one for me, so
Woo!
buckle in,
Wow.
baby. All right. I wish I had an abortion. I remember looking into her gray blue eyes that summer night in the hospital and not feeling how I thought one should feel when becoming a new mother.
Hmm.
No earth shattering joy, just cool indifference. Her father, just turned 17, was no help at all, simply biding his time on his mobile games and having the timer set for feeding every 2 hours like the nurse instructed. His family and mine came to visit. Everything was a blur for the 4 day stay. I was torn physically and mentally, raw and bleeding, just as helpless as my newborn daughter. I don't know how old she is, for the record. I'm hoping she is 17 in a weird way. Okay, continuing on. Incompetent, incomplete. I thought by having a baby, I would be whole, finally an adult, responsible and taken seriously. I was wrong. Laying in that
Oof.
hospital bed, reeling from the pain medication and dizzy from the halogen lights, depression sank in. 3 months in, I found myself being hospitalized, cold and alone without my daughter, no support, postpartum depression, the doctor said. That's what caused my intense, blinding rage.
What?
What caused me to lash out or recede into total blackout depression and dead to the world. My partner and I were doomed to fail from the beginning. He had wanted me to get an abortion. I thought if I kept the baby, he'd actually stay.
No.
No. I mean, we were all that stupid when we were that young.
Thank God we didn't get pregnant. That would have
Thank
been
God. I was
this
a
poor
young
person.
Christian girl at one point in my life. Okay. I thought if I kept my baby, he'd actually stay, love, and treat me how I should be treated. Maybe even go on to have a big, happy family. Something I thought I'd
Oh my
always
God.
wanted. He says I trapped him, which is fair enough. I trapped myself.
Fuck.
Both parents, man, are like, fuck this. A month later, I came home from the hospital. A year after that, I kicked him out. Had me in a chokehold He'd had me in a chokehold against the wall. Okay, this took a turn. I'd have enough. Trigger warning. We'll put that at the top. Stabbing him, I think she's missing a word.
What?
Stabbing him in the eye with a comb I held in my fist was my only defense. He let me go. I looked into my baby girl's blue eyes and I saw fear. She'd lived multiple lifetimes by 15 months. You cannot unsee the damage. I fear that I had broken her heart, her home, our family. I wish that I had listened and aborted her to keep her safe, to save myself. I thought we were saved when my daughter's stepfather entered our lives 3 months later. He had been my best friend for so long. I never thought he'd be the one. I had known him in high school and he was there to protect me and my partner's backlash and groveling. Oh, this is turning out back for the better.
For now. I just
Right.
feel like a man is never the answer.
There's also a much bigger paragraph left. He kept guard as he cleared his things out of our house on that cool September night, lounged on the couch, keeping a watchful eye. He said that he'd keep us safe, and he has these past 7 years together. Though I
Okay.
still
I
wish
was
I
gonna
had.
say seems older, so
Yeah, it's kind of like
she's a
just
good
talking.
writer. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's interesting. Okay, we can talk about that in a bit. I'll keep going for
Okay.
now.
Okay.
Though I still wish I had aborted you. Yeah. The mental scars have lingered, and my own childhood trauma unleashed through your toddler years changed my psyche. I do not like myself. I hold up within myself and I lost my way. I spent an entire year rotting in bed with depression. I wasn't bothered to move. I subsisted on a diet of packaged salty snacks, and and her words are a little weird in terms of structure and stuff. And I think what she means is, and you were raised by reruns of old cartoons. It almost broke
Hmm.
us up. Me and my soulmate, I gained 100 pounds and hated myself.
Hmm.
4 years ago, I almost died poisoning. To no avail, my brain and cells forever changed by the damage. What? Poisoning by what? What kind of poisoning?
No.
Who's poisoning you, girl? Okay. Well, anyway, I almost died. Poisoning. To no avail, my brain and cells forever changed by the damage. I find myself falling back into these old patterns of abuse. I don't want to dig my way back into that hole again. My partner introduced me to psilocybin therapy, and I increased my healing through EMDR. Okay.
Oh,
Healthy,
okay.
healthy approved routes of therapy. I have been on medication and hospitalization free for 3 years now, but what the
Okay.
actual fuck has become of my life? It
Oh my
feels like just
god.
yesterday I was attending college to become a health education PE teacher and enjoy my weekend poetry slams and book clubs. Okay, there you go. I'm getting the
Yeah.
poetry slam vibe.
Yeah, totally.
Living in my dorm and goofing off being a kid myself, having my daughter appended everything. My brain chemistry completely altered. I don't even recognize myself anymore. The severe body dysmorphia, bastardizing the person I see staring back at me in the mirror, even though I had since lost the weight. Whew. Okay, this is the last part. My girl, you're 8 now and you fear me. Resent my distance, watching closely to see if I'll disappear again and if this time it'll be permanent. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
I feel like some things have been left out of this story.
Out of this poem,
Jesus Christ.
I have like chills with this one. This one scares me. There's a lot going
This one is
on.
a true horror story.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's reflect a little bit before we go into the comments. Again,
Uh,
no 17-year-old should be pregnant.
no.
And no 17-year-old should, or at any age, should you have a baby to keep a man.
No. And also, I mean, again, I will reiterate, a man is never the answer. She's like putting so much trust in this other man, keeping them safe.
You know
Never,
what's
never
interesting
trust a man.
is that I was somehow on Instagram today or TikTok where a former Mormon woman came up with a support group book. I'm not positive exactly what her output is, but it's called A Man Is Not a Plan. And it's a former Mormon who was married, had kids, did the
Yes,
whole
honey.
thing, and then he cheated on her, and then she had no money, no anything, and lost all of her friends and family because they all, once they divorced, they all went, parsed the of who was going to be
Yeah.
friends with who, and then she lost everybody that she knew. So a man
Wow.
is not a
It's not a
plan.
plan. Yeah, and before anyone comes for us, just a reminder, we are both happily married, but our husbands are partners, not plans, not rescuers.
Amen.
You can't put all your trust and hope and future in the hands of a man. It's never a good idea.
All right. So, besides having a child way too young with a boy, another child who also is way too young to be a good father, on top of that, he's physically abusive. That's not good. Glad she got out of there. Also, the thing about the 15 months, she'd live multiple lifetimes by 15.
Yeah, I mean, even like the trauma of having physical violence against you is one thing, but also like the trauma of doing violence. Like she said that like stabbed him in the eye or whatever with her comb. That's
Well, to
traumatic.
get away from him.
To get away.
Yeah.
But that's
Ugh.
traumatic too, you know?
No, the whole thing. The whole thing. Not good.
I hate this.
And it's good that she met a new guy, but she got really depressed. Rage, we skipped over the blinding rage.
Yeah, what was happening with the blinding rage? I mean, this is what I'm saying. She left a lot of gaps in the story,
Yeah.
with the whole like, I hope I don't leave you again or something like that. I was like, you didn't tell us at all about leaving before.
Right. Well, the doctor said, he blamed it on the postpartum depression being what's
Uh-huh.
causing the blinding rage, which postpartum depression is no fucking joke.
No,
That
it's not.
sucks. And also, I mean, the reason I picked this in the first place was just the first couple sentences. I remember looking into her gray blue eyes that one summer night in the hospital and not feeling how I thought one should feel when becoming a new mother. No earth shattering joy, just cool indifference, which is like, to me, I think one of those tactics that people use to convince people to have kids. It's like, once they're born, you will never know such joy. It's the most life-changing, miraculous thing. And for somebody to experience that, go through all of the pregnancy, give birth, and then look at their kid and go, I feel nothing. Like, to me, that's like the most harrowing experience.
I know. I think too mentioned something about I thought that this was gonna make me an adult.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck, bro. That's another lie we gotta stop perpetuating. Don't grow up so fast. You know? Being
Also,
an adult,
like sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's not what you think it's gonna be. Just enjoy the time period that you're in, you know?
Yeah, but even we're 38. Do you feel like an adult?
Certain days,
I mean, like, overarchingly, it's like, okay, I'm just a kid version of myself with a little bit more responsibility and, like, motivation to pay for my housing and my own food. Really, being an adult is like, there's no milestone where I was like, now I'm an adult. Like,
yeah.
it's a blurry line, and I think even as you still identify so much with, like, being a kid, just with more responsibility, and you're like, to me, the fact that people are fucking having kids, I'm like, "What? You're a baby. You're a baby."
I know, yeah. I'm trying to think of how to explain how I feel. I think it's like this is biblical, but there's like a season for everything, you know? And I think part of the reason why you still feel like a kid is because you have gradually risen to each stage in your life. So it's not like you
Mhm.
had a traumatic ramp up to being like if you were 17 and suddenly you had to provide for a baby, you're jumping into a new tax bracket, babe. You know, like
Yeah.
you're jumping into a new level of responsibility that you haven't had the gradual steps into, and that's, I'm sure, very jarring, you know?
I don't discredit that at all. I'm just saying to feel like, "Oh, I thought it would make me feel like more of an adult." I just, like, don't think that there's a definition or a thing that makes one feel
One
finally like
feel
an adult. Because even
sure.
people who have little babies are like, now I have to raise this thing? Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I've never had a
Yeah,
baby
yeah,
before. I'm an idiot. I'm relying on my
yeah,
parents and textbooks and, like you're always kind of an infant in your brain.
yeah. God, I hate this for her.
Yeah, it's rough. So anyway, that's pretty horrible, but ending again, revisiting the ending. You're 8 now and you fear me.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Watching closely to see if I'll disappear again and this time it'll be permanent. I guess we'll have to wait and see. So I'm trigger warnings. I'm not sure if the poison thing was self-inflicted, if it's she's been looking for a way to exit this earth and her
Um,
daughter's worried about whether it's gonna happen again. I'm not sure.
any comments?
Yeah. Top comment. If your partner wants to get an abortion, take it with both hands. It's a first sign that this is already dead before it started.
Yes, yes, that's great advice. I don't know why people think I'm not gonna get the abortion that he wants because he's gonna come around. Babe, he
I
wanted you to get an
do.
abortion.
I know. Because society manipulates us into thinking once you have a kid, you're gonna love it.
Right.
Like, you're gonna get that Hallmark storybook ending. Like, that's such a fucking
Lie.
lie. All right, next comment. This is so real. My daughter is 4 and I regret everything. I wish someone had just told me not to. I was only 18. So the comment replying to her is, do you think you would have listened if someone had told you? I ask because we all told
Mm,
my sister, every one of us. She didn't listen and now she's absolutely miserable. I think we don't tell people to or not to because it will ruin our relationship without
yeah.
changing the outcome. So this person replied, the one who said, my daughter's 4 and I was only 18. She says, I was actively searching for someone who would tell me no, but everyone, even the person I thought would be the most honest, didn't. Everyone told me how happy and excited they were and that I'd make a wonderful parent, and it gave me false hope and a false idea of what parenthood is like. Everyone just glorified it, that it would be
Mhm.
magical. I loathe them for that.
Yeah.
Same shit.
Yeah. Yeah,
18.
that's rough.
It's
That's fucking
like
rough.
I don't wanna say it should be illegal, but it kinda should be illegal.
It should be illegal.
You're an idiot.
I think we need to have a new service that we offer where people can hire us to do a one-on-one hour consultation. They'll tell us their story and we'll get to just ask them questions.
I'm 99% sure you've already pitched this idea in a different regretful parents that we've talked about. People in the comments tell us I'm like 99% sure, but I think it's a good idea and I think we should do it.
We'll tell you if you should have a kid or not.
Spoiler alert, probably not.
Spoiler, I'm probably going to pitch this again. Maybe today in another episode.
Then okay, I'll just read another top comment. The way you love your daughter and simultaneously regret your parenting journey so far is heartbreaking. Thank you for sharing. And that's another thing worth mentioning. It's like this kid is 8 and she still feels like, what the fuck did I do?
Yeah.
So, any last comments?
I mean, to that point, like, she feels like, "What the fuck did I do?" Because she lost her entire period of youth, like, the whole section about her not having a normal college experience, like, can you imagine if you were in college with a fucking baby? Horrible.
No, just being in college as an 18-year-old is hard enough. I remember begging my parents, I'm sure I've told this fucking story before, so drop it in the comments if I've already bored you with this one, but, I remember, the only thing I wanted when I was 16 was a dog, and I begged my parents for a dog, and then I got a puppy finally at 16, and then 2 years later, I went to college, and I think I really truly gave that dog the attention and care it deserved for, like, the first, 6 months, and then I was like, "Okay, mom and dad, your responsibility, I'm good," and, 6 months is optimistic, I remember,
Yeah,
taking care of the puppy early, but I still feel like, "You're an idiot at
you're an idiot.
16, and then you're blinded by love? Forget it. You're doing dumb shit. You're making
Yeah.
dumb decisions, and then 6 months later, you're gonna go, 'Oops, now I've made a life-altering decision.'" By the way, that dog lived a very happy, good life for the rest of its
I
life,
met
so
that
don't
dog. It
worry.
was a great dog. It's
It
really
was my
cute.
grandmother's best friend at the end. The dog
Oh,
just moved in with my Oma, and they became best friends, and she turned to me
I
one
didn't
time
know
and she
that.
said, "Oh, yeah." And she turned to me one time and when we were talking about how she was doing, and she said, "Well, my best friend is a dog." So, Romeo became Oma's best friend, so it worked
Oh
out.
my god, Romeo. I love that.
So get a dog, not a kid. I honestly was thinking that today. If you're tempted, if you're even thinking about having a kid, adopt a dog. Adopt a
I
dog
mean,
first, and we'll
let's
see how it
actually
goes.
say if you're thinking about having a kid, foster a dog, see how that goes, because then you're not in a
That's fair.
committed relationship, and then if you decide you wanna adopt that dog, that's even better, but
Yeah. I will cross my fingers it's a foster fail because you probably
we'll fall in love with that dog.
will love your dog. But it's different than a kid because you can leave the dog at home and go on vacation still to the Bahamas anytime.
You
Okay,
can
well,
take
I
the dog to the
digress.
Bahamas.
You could potentially, but that's a lot of work. And anyway, we don't need to go to the logistics. If you want logistics on how to transport your dog, you can find more on YouTube
Oh my
on the short
god.
clips. And if you like this episode, remember to like and subscribe. We've got a lot more Regretful Parents series stuff coming. And if you want to go deeper, we have an entire podcast about being child free. The first 10 episodes are about being on the fence. So if you're on the fence, go back and visit those. All right. The quality is kind of sketchy in the beginning, but the
Still
content is
good.
A plus.
Fire.
All right, so you can find it wherever you find podcasts. Just search for Dinky. You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok at Dinky Pod. And if you're looking to make more friends, we got trips. We're going to where are we going, Erica?
Vietnam.
Vietnam.
Other places in
We're going to
2026.
Christmas markets in Europe in a month, but you're not probably.
Unless you signed up
Unless
already.
you sign up, but it's too late because it's closed. So
Too late to sign up
anyway,
now.
love ya. Don't get pregnant.